Deborah, go ahead.
Alrighty, here we go, guys. Sunday night, favorite time, favorite place, Global Strangeness, with all us strange people gathered together to talk about our usual weird, wacky, scary, whatever you want to call it. So this week, Michael made the mistake of missing last time, so he was invited to be the person to find the topic, which is your punishment for missing, which I like. I think we should do that every time someone's missing, that person's picking. So,
oh yeah, I've only missed one.
Right? But Michael, you did awesome because I love this topic, honestly.
Good.
It's interesting because I don't know what I believe, it's sort of, controversial in a whole lot of juicy ways. So what he picked for us, ladies and gentlemen, is faith healing. And so what that is exactly what it says. It's healing by the strength of your faith alone. And so most people, when we start thinking about this, we right away picture the old pastor with the hand on the forehead and somebody flying off and the, illness comes off and they throw their crutches to the side and they're healed. But there is a lot more to it, especially nowadays, right? Because there's so much with people talking about manifesting and holistic healing and all these things. So it kind of has spread out. So this has been going on forever and ever, every kind of culture, every kind of religion. And I do believe I was in my research, they were talking about how I think it became really sort of popular because of the pure expense of medical doctors, especially in some countries, especially back in the day. Only rich people got, visits with the doctors, or, hardly any doctors. And so if you're poor, I mean, what it's people who are basically, you got no other hope. So you're just going to throw it in, right? You're going to do whatever you can. What are you going to do? If you can't afford a doctor and you have this terrible illness, you're going to try and figure out different ways. And if you have any sort of faith or any, structure like that, you can put all your apples in that basket. And it's interesting because I somewhat believe in this. I do believe the mind, you can heal yourself. You can do all kinds of interesting things. Faith healing is more like people thinking that the master has the divine connection, so it's coming through another person. This is where placebo effect comes from for sure, right? You guys
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some truth to it because there's, that's a coined phrase for a reason. There's lots and lots, everybody's heard stories about people that have healed based on their, belief alone, where they got a diagnosis and then they went to some, faith healing thing. They decided to check out of the hospital. They're only supposed to live for a month. And then a month later, they're cured. So, but on the flip side, for every one of those stories, then there's stories where people, because of their faith, didn't go to a church or didn't go to a hospital and they chose to stay home and, like God take care of it. And then something simple that could have been cured ends up causing a death. So what do you guys feel is the most prevalent? Is it kind of where the faith?
Well, I think like even Jehovah's Witnesses don't, right? They don't do surgeries or blood transfusions. It gets, I don't know.
The only thing they're witnessing is their death. But yeah.
But then, Jeremy, like the thing is, for every story where that happens, where somebody didn't go to the doctor, could have been saved for something simple and they died. Then there's some miracle story where somebody who has like zero hope, the doctors have, said whatever, then they have a healing story. So it's really weird. So, and I also there's a difference between, I think, thinking that the pastor is doing all the healing and he's got, Jesus running through his veins or whatever, I don't know, or versus like you yourself focusing and you're, on healing your own cells and stuff. And then to really throw something into the mixture, have you heard about where there's like concentrated group prayers towards people who are ill, and the sick patient doesn't even know anyone's doing this and they heal? It has an effect. And I'm a huge believer in energy and projecting energy. So I think there's something to all of this, because that's been proven many times too, where they have like hundreds of people and they'll concentrate on, somebody who's in dire straits, but the patient doesn't know they're doing this. And there's a marked recovery that the doctors can't explain. So that's pretty miraculous, I'd say.
Well, it's like George Michael said, you got to have faith.
right? And do you think, especially in the last few years, do you think there's a whole healthy mistrust of medical,
Since
Absolutely.
since COVID, oh god, yeah, the medical community faith has freaking gone negative.
Right? So I think this is gonna and again, even for cost wise too, like, even today, a lot of medical, things, they cost too much money. And so people, especially now, people are really broke right now. And I don't know, they're putting their faith somewhere else besides the medical industry and big pharma, who of course, don't want any of this to happen. So
I put my faith in Mark. I put my faith in Mark Cuban because he bought a lot of pharmaceutical companies, and he's lowering the price of the freaking medicine every week, making it more affordable for people without insurance.
Yeah,
you guys got to get closer to Mexico.
But I almost like I really like holistic healing and whatever. I'm not against hospitals, obviously. If I'm not, to that degree where I wouldn't go have an operation if I needed one. But I also like the idea of holistic healing before you ever, go to the, Western medicine direction. That's how I feel about it.
Whenever I'm sick, man, I am down in the vitamin D, C, and eating garlic like a motherfucker.
Right? So like some of those old, remedies are the best.
Scott, I think you forgot to mention vitamin I and vitamin K in the middle there, but okay.
Tough crowd.
Vitamin D.
Not saying I'm really proud of that joke, but I had to do it.
It was thought out pretty well there, Jeremy. I'll give you that one. I didn't catch it.
So anyways, I don't know, Jeremy, I brought a video about this. So this is like some street healers, and this guy, he's just showing how, because obviously there's a lot of scammers out there doing this too. Like, do you remember when we were doing the cult thing and there's that website and they had this just like beautiful website, but it was some horrific cult? Remember, we looked it up and we're like, God, it looks gorgeous. I actually joined because it looks like a spa. But they were doing, I
kind of remember that.
Yeah, but they were doing some of this and people were dying and stuff. So I don't know. But anyways, I found this little video and I thought it was kind of interesting because he explains some of the,
getting it up,
showmanship of it, like how it's actually work, how it goes down, like you're seeing. So
those people were WordPress pros.
Yeah, 100%. They had an impressive website. So like, oh my gosh. So Jeremy, if you want to bring that up, we'll find out. You can learn the trade and then take it to the street and see what you can do.
For $49.95.
All right.
Yeah, we're selling this as
all right, Debra. Debra, it's a 7-minute video. Are we watching the whole thing, or?
Well, I think there's an ad or whatever. We can watch. Like, he shows 3 different tricks, like 3 different: a blind guy, a deaf guy, and somebody with leg injuries.
We've researched the major miracles that faith healers perform, and now I want to show Nathan what I believe lies behind them.
Today you are going to witness the miraculous. The blind will see, the deaf will hear, limbs will grow out. These are faith healing miracles, and I'm going to show you how to perform them.
Take these hearing aids out. You foul spirit of deafness, take your hands off this woman in Jesus' name. How do I sound now? No.
Here is a popular miracle of making the deaf hear. I'm going to demonstrate this and some other miracles exactly as they might be presented at a faith healing event like the one you can see here.
And now you can hear? Yes.
The people you see being healed at these events are selected by the faith healers team, the catchers, who bring them up on stage to present them to the healer.
Darren, this lady's been deaf since birth.
All of our volunteers have genuine registered disabilities. I've merely asked them to respond completely honestly and imagine they were at a real event with an audience. You can lip read? Okay. This woman has been deaf since she was born. She doesn't know what it is to hear. So you can read my lips. So I'm going to turn away and say a word. 27. Nope, she can't hear. She needs to lip read to hear what I'm saying. Let's heal these ears.
What did the 27 have to do with
39 years.
anything?
Without lip reading,
Oh, she's the deaf one.
she doesn't know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he's trying to demonstrate that she
Heal this
can't
woman.
hear.
Restore her hearing. I hate those devils of deafness. I hate those devils of deafness, and I cast them out now. I command this hearing to be restored. To be restored now.
Jesus Christ, this is like kind of recent, huh?
Yeah.
How many clicks?
3.
Say Jesus.
Jesus.
She's no longer
No.
lip reading.
A miracle seems to have happened. But before
Come on.
We're
let's
watching you
see
guys.
another one, this time
Hold
with
the
someone
phone.
who's registered blind.
This is Ian.
Mhm.
He's been blind.
If she's
since
been
birth.
deaf her whole life,
And vice
how does she
versa.
know
How
how to
old now, Ian?
speak?
46.
He explains
This man
it,
is
though, at the
46.
end.
He has been
With all
blind
of
since
it.
birth. This man has never been able to see. He doesn't know what it's even like to be able to see. Take a step forward for me. Let's start praying.
Build hand on the forehead.
Father, I command those devils of blindness to come out of this man. I command in Jesus' name those devils of blindness to leave this man in Jesus' holy name. Spirit, fall upon the man.
I'd like to
Heal
see
this
this in
man.
person
Bring
someday.
him back up. Bring him back up.
How dumb do you gotta
Come
be,
forward, come
dude?
forward, come forward.
I wanted to see a real smack. That was
Father, open
nothing.
this man's eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get them devils out.
Yeah, man.
Ian,
That takes
how
a
many
punch.
fingers am I holding up? Tell me how many fingers. 2. He sees. Lord, be praised, this man sees. Ian, I've got a handkerchief. Take the handkerchief from me. Take it from me. Follow me around. Come on, follow me around. Somebody praise the Lord. This man can see. His sight is restored. These are the miracles. Who believes in miracles?
He's been healed from blindness. But let's go back to Sophie and find out a little more.
Have I just really healed you of deafness?
No.
You are moderately deaf, but you're essentially hearing impaired. Yes, you can't really hear without your hearing aid if I face the other way. But all the clicks and everything you can hear anyway.
Yeah.
And you're not healed because, well, nothing has changed.
In a similar way, although Ian has genuinely been blind since birth, like most registered blind people, he has some impaired vision. And with the right lighting, he can see blurred shapes and colors, enough to see the number of fingers I was holding against my dark jacket,
Tell me how many fingers.
2. Enough to see my bright handkerchief. And of course, his hearing helps him follow me around the room.
Follow me around. Come on, follow me around.
Both
These
of these
scary
major
cameras.
miracles are created by allowing the audience to be misled about the extent of someone's real condition, then presenting things they can already do as evidence of change, when actually they're just the same as they were before.
In Jesus'
Or
name,
people
left leg, I
planted
command you
in
to
the
grow.
audience.
You can witness another popular miracle that faith healers often claim by typing street.
All right, how much further you want to go with this?
That was
It's up to you
amazing.
guys. The next one is just about the people that make people walk, which I thought was interesting because you see that one all the time.
You want
Are
to
they
people walk?
planted in
Put
the
a freaking
crowd?
You want to see people walk? Put a freaking alligator down in front of them. You'll see anybody walk. If they're in a wheelchair, they'll fucking walk.
Shoot them up with some amphetamines.
Deborah, that was a
Wouldn't
great
hurt.
video.
That's the
That was
Captain
a
Scott
really good
method.
video. Very insightful. And I totally believe is the wrong word. That's the only explanation of faith healing that I've seen that is credible.
Yeah, well, and the walking one, like they show you, they extend their legs really far so that it aches, right? If you extend your legs really far, and then they kind of slide one shoe so it looks like it's like longer than the other leg, and then when the guy actually like does stand up, it feels like it's healed because he's been extending his legs too far, so it was hurting him while he was in the chair, and then suddenly he has relief, and it's just like scammy mother effers.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, guys. If you have a terminal illness, you'll do virtually anything to be healed. If these people were genuine in their abilities, you would see people that maybe people that who have died, you would have seen them healed, and it just doesn't happen.
Well, that was the whole premise of Man on the Moon. Remember the Jim Carrey movie where he went and had the cancer ripped from him, and then he found out the dude was just like rinsing pork and blood and pocketing it into his hand.
Yeah. I've seen stuff like that where they create this optical illusion where they're shoving their hand through your skin into your body and pulling out the poisoned flesh.
Yeah.
It's just a sleight of hand trick. It's really all it is.
Well, and do you think too, like some of this, when you have a big crowd, like you see how how they're talking, like you have been healed and whatever. It's sort of a group, a herd mentality of believing. It's all rippling through like it's everybody's there, and there's a whole lot of energy about believing what they're seeing. Same as magic tricks or anything, I guess.
Right. Kind of showmanship.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell was it? What show was it? It had to be. I think it was Supernatural. The one episode where they go to they like pull off at a faith healer's tent on the side of the road, and it ends up being that they have a
wasn't it an angel?
Yeah, I think they have an angel and chained up or caged up, and the angel's behind the scenes like healing all these people, and like it's like killing the angel. It's killing the angel though because it's been stuck on Earth so long doing this.
We just started rewatching Supernatural, man. Those first 5 seasons are pretty good.
Oh, the Scarecrow Jeepers Creeper episode, like the first season, that's freaking
incredible. Yeah. No, I really like the old stuff.
Yeah, once they started getting really biblical, it was still good because it's Sam and Dean, but still, it's just like, go back to killing monsters, please.
Yeah, monsters, not fist fighting angels.
I mean, it's interesting as it is seeing Castiel get used to humanity still. But okay. Well, Debra, is that all you or?
That's a wrap for me. Take it away, someone else.
Well, Debra, I also wanted to talk to you about the whole placebo effect that you mentioned earlier on. Clearly, that's a real phenomenon. How does that happen? I wonder also, what is the scope of those events, right? We're not talking about blind people being able to see or people who are paralyzed being able to walk, right? What type of symptoms do we see vanish when we're talking about the placebo effect?
Have you guys seen any placebos where they got healed? I've seen the ones where they took the placebo medication and then the patient tried to kill themselves and ate all the medication, went to the hospital. Their heart was about to have an attack, and then they find out they're on the placebo, and everything just calms right on back down.
Well, go ahead, Jeremy.
I mean, from what I've read over the years and whatnot, what I've seen, for placebos to work, you have to pretty much make the thing in your mind the whole time to begin with. You can convince your mind enough that any part of your body hurts, and your body will believe it because your mind thinks it's true. And it literally takes a placebo effect or just extreme psychology to make you finally believe you're not hurting anymore. I mean, for a way, but rather than years and years of hard psychology on you. But I mean, it's just that's the only way I see it working. Placebo effect is if it's your beliefs that are causing it, not a real medical issue. There's no way in hell.
Oh, but there is. So this isn't so if you look into, have you guys heard of Joe Dispenza or something? And they talk about, but it's not they're not healers or not preachers or anything like that, but they teach meditation and self-healing with your mind, right, through meditation and whatever. And there's people that have look them up. There's so many stories about people that have actual cancer diagnosis that do none of the medical procedures, but then heal themselves. Joe Dispenza himself was in a wheelchair, and then with just his meditation and his healing methods, he walks. So there's so much evidence for every person that died because they didn't go to the doctor. There's also a story of how powerful your mind is and healing your own body and cells. That's factual. There's lots of stories about it where it's a medical condition that should not be cured, should not work, but it does. So there's something to the power of your mind and energy and all this. It's fascinating. But I think, these preachers or whatever, that's the people's own mind. If there is one where it's an actual, miracle where they're cured, I think it's their own mind healing their body. They're just believing the preacher is, bestowing some sort of miracle on them, but it's actually their own minds believing it that strongly. If that makes sense. That's what I think.
So, Deborah, are we saying that the people who die of disease died because they simply couldn't manifest the correct energy?
Well, I don't know, because I do not have all the answers to the universe, because there's also some fate and, all of this stuff, right? We come here to play a role that we've agreed to before we get to Earth, I think. So it all depends on all that kind of stuff and your karmic cycles and all of it. So I am a newbie in all of this stuff. I just find it all really interesting. So I'm learning and forming opinions as I go, but I believe, there's lots of evidence where some of this stuff works. Not in the tents with the, or maybe there is. Like I said, though, I think it really is the people believing it that are creating the, miracles in themselves or whatever, the healing. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So,
Think it's all bullshit, or?
Well, I don't know. Let's look at another example. We look at something like, say, the Mayo Clinic or MD Anderson. We know in our minds and in our hearts that these are the best medical facilities on the planet, right? We believe that. We have faith in that. So you would think, if by virtue of the placebo effect, that is, believing that the medicine I'm taking is going to cure me, and somehow it does, even if it's just a sugar pill, you would believe that if you attended treatment at a place that was so esteemed, that you could manifest your healing just by virtue of believing that.
I see where you're going with that.
But
right?
I had a good friend who died. She went to MD Anderson for a year. She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't discount that placebo effect, though, right? Like, because that's person to person. Some people, like, it gets into their head a little bit more. That
right, I get
it's
your
uncurable.
I would just, from my own experience, I would be very deliberate in the way I describe that, because I wouldn't for a minute want to place blame on the lack of healing on the afflicted. That would be a shame.
Oh,
yeah.
When you think of children, and there's all kinds of, absolutely, there's all kinds of people who, it's not due to, their lack of trying or mind frame or whatever, right? Like, I'm not saying that. Again, I don't know. I'm just saying there's lots of evidence both sides. So I'm not going to discredit that some people can do this.
I agree with you, because, of course, we've had shamanism and all of these ancient remedies. Deborah, have you personally tried acupuncture? I'd like to know what your
I did.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah.
I've tried it. I can't say for sure if it did anything. It made my wallet a little lighter.
What do you think? Did it work?
So we were in Berkeley at the time, and we were on the streets, and there was this place where they'd wash our feet and like give us granola bars and stuff, and they had acupuncture. And I only did it the one time, but you didn't do it, did you, Lindsay? The
They washed your feet and gave you granola bars?
Yeah, I'm not joking. But all the students would practice on us. There was something other than acupuncture. I can't remember what that other thing was. But
I'm guessing.
Well, the foot scrubs, yeah. But it was like a student that fucking stuck a bunch of needles in me. I think they even lit them on fire. Like,
they usually like the end of them. It's supposed to release the toxins from you.
This lady was like thick and shit and muscles and nerves. It was a fucking horrible experience. I can tell you that much.
So it hurt? Like, it didn't make you feel better? It felt
Did
Well,
they give you
first
another
off, I didn't
granola
even
bar?
feel bad. Yeah, I'm not joking. Like it was like Tuesday or Thursday, every Tuesday or Thursday night, like all the homeless kids would go and meet at this one place. And it was like this big party where these college kids would scrub your feet. They'd do acupuncture. I don't remember what the other thing was, but then they'd give you like granola bars and drinks and shit.
It
We'd
doesn't sound too
play
bad.
the radio. No, it was fucking awesome. That's why so many homeless people are in San Francisco, dude.
That's a lot.
There's all oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's probably like 30 of us, but then like you got the Hare Krishna and a bunch of other shit. Food Not Bombs would do like 2 meals a day every day. It's pretty dope.
So the acupuncture itself hurt though. Like you don't feel like it's.
Yeah, no, I mean I was getting like, she was stabbing it into the nerves and shit. Like it was not good.
You gotta know what you're doing if you're doing acupuncture. Like it's gotta be someone who knows what they're doing. Like
She was learning. Who better to learn on than the homeless?
Jesus.
Well, that's what the government's been saying for years, Scott. But
okay, has anybody tried Reiki? My apologies if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly.
Reiki.
I've tried Reiki.
I mean,
Reiki.
I don't know. I think it's Reiki at least.
I think it's Reiki, but yeah.
I think it's Reiki, like you're raking the lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would, Scott.
You'd be better off raking the lawn, as far as I can tell. Because again, that was really a wallet lightening experience.
So no, I have. Has anybody? I haven't. Jeremy, you have. Haven't you?
Yeah.
I just had a Reiki. I just had my 15th, 16th Reiki session this past Friday, and I literally and physically feel lighter. Feel like all my stress is gone. Like I tear up when they're doing it. Like I 100% believe that Reiki and energy healing can work if the person knows what they're doing. Just like any of these more paranormal, spiritual or medicinal practices, as long as the practitioner is actually real and knows what they're doing, then it works. Reiki has made me. It makes me into a better person. It literally does. Like it just empties anything in my mind, worry, hate, like anger. It just whoosh.
See, and I feel I've not done Reiki, but I've done like energy, and I do it myself with guided meditations and whatever, like energy clearing. So it's exactly what you say. It feels light, like you feel something physically going through your body and like leaving your body, and you feel like you're breaking patterns and behaviors and heaviness.
Like I've done enough times now where when my teacher, practitioner, master, whatever the hell you want to call her, when she says feel your feet get grounded and rooted to the earth, it feels like they are rooted to the earth. Like it literally feels like something's pulling your feet down.
Yes.
It's some kind of witchcraft, black magic shit. But
it sounds like hypnosis.
It's not though, because you're fully aware and awake for all of it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of hypnosis, you're awake and aware. Your conscious mind is conscious, but your subconscious is. But energy, I'm telling you, energy healing works. For me, anyways, it's like a game changer.
What exactly is Reiki? Is that the crystal shit?
No, not at all. It's literally just. I mean, I do it on Zoom. For God's sake, and she's my Jassy, my instructor. She was on my show. You can hear the episode she was on, but she literally like just while very soulful music's playing that puts it random because it's whatever the universe wants you to hear that day. Like literally, it's just her moving her hands and it's her intention. Like it's her intention, her face. Like I can see the look on her face, and she just like there's some sessions after that she's like, "Holy shit, you had a lot of dark energy in you today." Like it's just like when she has a chakra alignment, it's just like freaking heaven. Like I'd rather have that than go to the doctor any day. You feel so much better after that than you do when you go to the doctor.
Maybe you just need a better webcam.
Yeah, but the thing, like, so you can do it over the phone without. You don't have to be on Zoom even. Like you can. Okay. But yeah, I'm huge. I totally believe. I don't know, like, what the difference of the terms of like energy healing and Reiki is. It sounds like it's all the same thing, really. But
yeah, it sounds like it, Debra. It sounds like they're related. It's just a systemic approach to, energy, body energy alignment.
So how about you? Have you tried any of this stuff or?
Oh, well, yeah, I've tried, obviously, the Reiki. I've tried Reiki. I've done acupuncture.
How did you feel without acupuncture? That's not even really like spiritual. It's more like chiropractor.
I would say it's more like chiropractor.
I mean, kind of. They're not actually like, cracking your day. They're not actually like freaking like realigning your freaking bones though, like they do with chiropractor first.
Yeah, I mean, but like the one that did me, there was no like spiritual mojo jojo shit. It was just like hitting nerves.
Like chiropractors used to be really frowned upon too, right? Like this is all slowly becoming more accepted mainstream as to work in conjunction with Western medicine, but that used to be like a witchcraft type of thing as well. So, and I think acupuncture, they've been doing that, in Eastern medicine, for forever and ever. Like it's quite technical. Like they're sticking a needle right exactly where, like right here is connected to whatever in your brain or whatever. Like,
yeah, they had a map.
Very technical. You have
that
to know.
lady.
There's a map.
Lady couldn't hit an X with a damn fucking bullseye on it.
Yeah, that's right. Don't take her out axe throwing. It might be a disaster.
So, Michael, did you feel better when you had that done, or did you feel?
I didn't really feel anything. I can tell you, I didn't feel anything from that. Like Scott said, a couple of them hurt a little bit. I had some bleeding.
Bleeding? Oh, Jesus!
Yeah, it's like it was. I think it was a little bit of mumbo jumbo to me. I didn't believe it. I'm sorry. It didn't have the intended effect. That's what I'm getting at.
It looks like it hurts is cupping. Have you guys where they stick the hot?
Yes. Yes. I have done that.
Oh, how does that feel? That looks like it's painful.
I honestly I was getting a massage one day and like, they're just like, you want to try this? I'm like, sure. And yeah, it freaking feels like a vacuum cleaner sucking your skin up. And literally, like I was at my aunt and uncle's house in the pool the next day, and they're literally like, it looks like you got attacked by an octopus all down your back.
What was it like? They say it sucks the poison through your pores, or what the hell is that about?
I don't freaking know. I mean, it hurt more than it actually like felt good, and like your back hurts for days afterwards.
So you think it's stretching the muscles into that?
I don't know. It felt like they were just stretching my freaking skin and fat, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd try that one. That looks nuts.
I mean,
I
go to a masseuse and she's hot. I'm not gonna say no to whatever she wants to do. So
fair enough.
That was one thing I wanted to add with like Michael's point though, when we were talking about the placebo thing, is like some people are just super easygoing, and I think the lack of stress probably has a hell of a lot to do with like healing and shit, right? Like if you got some airhead, ready to go, good to go for anything person, they're probably going to heal a little quicker than somebody who's like, uptight, always thinking they're sick type stuff.
Well, there you go, Scott. Brandy says it. It's lymphatic drainage. That's where it's supposed to help, she thinks.
Okay.
The cupping?
Steering clearer anyways.
Yeah, the cupping. I mean, not the cupping you like, Scott. The cupping masseuses do.
But Scott, too, like to kind of expand on that, because people who do hypnosis, there's a certain percentage of people that are super suggestible with hypnosis, right? So those people probably could be healed, have a miraculous healing easier than somebody who's harder to be hypnotized.
Yeah, everyone's different, right? Like,
yeah.
And then it's not just like stress, it's heart raising and falling. Like there's all sorts of things that could, exercise, what's
I can
going
see
on
when you
in
have
their
that
life.
great big tent of people and the guys like putting on such a big show, and there's so much like I can see more people getting sucked in that kind of an atmosphere, right? Like you're just like, oh my gosh, we're all having a miracle right here. We're witnessing it. So it's like having Jesus himself right there. So
Yeah, go to protests. Like people do some crazy shit, man.
yeah.
Well, actually, I mean, well, Scott, I mean, this is America. People are very susceptible. I mean, most people still believe that birds are real.
I know. Losers.
You know,
Well,
Scott,
they are real outside of America. It's only North America where they've all been killed and they're now robots.
Well, that
Yeah.
makes
They
a
taste
lot
good,
of
though.
sense, yeah.
They taste good. Good taste in robots.
yeah, there seems to be fewer birds around here, but I digress. Scott, I think you're on to something, and that is, stress is an important factor in health. So these laid-back people that you describe, they're probably less susceptible to stress-related illness.
Yeah, and that's a real thing, right? Like science has proven
Right.
stress-related
Oh,
illnesses.
Stress kills stress kills more than anything else in the world. Well, except maybe ghosts and Bigfoot and all that, but well, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I think Bigfoot's doing the most murking around here.
Serial killer Bigfoot.
Yeah. I think
Debra,
like
is there stress in Canada? Because I just read an article that people are leaving Canada because it's too expensive.
Canada is, I mean, we've gone through some times here in the last, few years. The big C and our, I don't want to say too much, we'll get banned, but our, we have an election coming up and hopefully things change. That's all I'm going to say.
is there a chance in hell that Trudeau gets out of there?
Well, we'll see if it's fair or not. It's, we're I think treading into the same waters that you guys face, where there's like fake votes and whatever. I don't know. We'll have to see. Canada's changed in the last few years for sure.
You guys have a lot more parties and stuff, though. It seems like it would be easier to sway elections into something totally different where you're at.
No, it's well, I don't know. It depends. So we have the NDP kind of teamed up with the Liberals, which made it very, very difficult. That's how he stayed in this last time. So, but then there's been some fighting between those two parties. So hopefully that's what can. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because again, we get censored here. That's another thing that's happened is we get censored heavily about talking about any of this stuff.
Well,
yeah, but 30%.
Go ahead, Scott.
30% of our podcast has to be Canadian, so you got to bring Canadian politics. Otherwise, we're not going to play in your hometown.
Yeah, except the things we say, we're gonna get banned. That's the whole thing. So, yeah, it's. I love Canada, though. Honestly.
Yeah, Canada's great.
Beautiful
You
country.
actually have real birds up there, not the fake ones we have here.
We have real birds.
I know. I wonder what a real bird tastes like. Do you think it tastes better than the fake bird?
I don't know. I have some Canada goose downstairs in the freezer, Scott. You got to come by when we're doing our Sasquatch investigation.
Heck yeah.
Debra, you're not offended by us eating a Canada goose, are you?
I have eaten goose myself before.
Okay.
I've hunted.
We were trying to shoot them this morning, but no birds were flying, so had to break ice. That sucked.
So how about you, Scott? What did you bring for us this week with?
Oh, is Michael done?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't cut you off.
I wanted to see a little bit of the famous video of the preacher man, probably in the woods of Kentucky, getting bitten by a rattlesnake.
We can show that.
And the idea of a man of faith, right? His faith wasn't enough to protect him from a demise that his Bible told him could not happen.
This you guys will find funny. My great grandfather was actually a Snake Baptist in Tennessee.
I believe it.
So runs in the family. You got to milk the snake before you let him bite you.
There's
You know what
a
I'm
trick, you see?
There's a trick. It's a carnival trick, dude.
Jeez.
That, you know what? I learned a lot. I just learned something real. That is amazing.
When
There's
like
a
I would
carnival
love.
aspect.
Wouldn't you love to go to one of these things, like just to witness it? Like I just think it would be fascinating to
I
get.
just think sitting around all of those people speaking in tongues, I'm not sure I
Right?
could keep it together, Deborah. I think I would
I
just
would I would love to see it, dude. That sounds like a real fun time.
Dang, that was it, man. Look at all the blood, man. Look at all the blood.
Oh, they don't look like they believe. They're concerned.
I wish my dad would have kept in contact with that part of the family. Would have been interesting.
That's crazy. There's
Well, I
poor
guess-
kids watching that. Oh my lord.
Well, apparently that guy died.
Oh no.
It's
Such
in
a
the
loss.
Bible.
Such a loss.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hard sell for the next pastor to come in next Sunday and take his place and be
Well,
like,
Oh, dude, they're
Please.
fighting over that role. Come on now. They're the rock star of the town.
Yeah. Like Scott said, you got to milk that snake before you engage with it. Right?
Yeah, make sure it's all the way milked.
All the way out.
Mm.
So
That's crazy because that's like Eastern Diamondback. Normally they don't kill people. He must have got right in the jugular vein or something.
Well, he bled a lot too. Like maybe
yeah, there was blood
it was-
everywhere.
that's-
Yeah, hit like a main artery or something.
So I guess what's my point? My point is here's this man. He's referring to a very specific passage in the Bible. He's executing it in the way he believes the Bible intended it to be executed. And lo and behold, he dies. So the whole idea of faith healing has to be called into question because here you have an example where it just didn't work, right? It just didn't work. And now Scott brings in some vital information that part of this is charlatanism. They milk the poison out of the snakes before they even handle them. So, but that said, there are people sitting in that audience speaking in tongues, and they believe this stuff.
They believe.
Well, the pastor didn't have enough faith, Michael. That was the
that's-
problem. He
That's what I
lost
was
his
getting
faith.
to earlier with Debra's allusion to energy management. We have to be careful not to blame the afflicted, but in this case, we could always appeal to lack of faith for the reason of failure, right? Well, she just didn't believe hard enough. Well, right? I mean, that we can do that, can't we?
She
We
must have been
do.
listening to the wrong freaking George. She must have listened to Boy George, not George Michael.
So on the flip side, do you guys think is it just straight up fate then? Like, and it's coincidence one way or the other, Sometimes there's a miracle and that's just a coincidence, and sometimes you just die and that's just, it's got nothing to do with what you like. Is that what you guys think? And it's all been predetermined to begin with?
I mean, fate has said if you're going to die, you're going to die.
I think the placebo effect can happen in illnesses or afflictions where your mind can just frickin' ignore it, right? So a pain, for example, you're in such tremendous pain, I'm going to give you these pills and you're not going to be in pain anymore. Well, I think your mind can shunt pain to a degree, but can it programmatically turn against cancer cells in your body? I don't think so.
And what about so the group prayers that are directed at people and they have, do you think those people were just going to heal anyways, or do you feel like the directed energy and
Well,
healing?
think back to the video that she showed with the charlatanism involved. Are we really praying for people that are sick? Are we praying for people in these group prayers? Are we praying for people who have an affliction that could not be cured by science or medicine? Who are we praying for?
Well,
What
I'm
is
just saying,
the
like,
profile of that
online,
person?
online, they're like somebody who's having a mass, like a major operation or something like that, and their chances are very slim. And then this whole group of people will get together and direct energy and prayers or whatever, and then the person makes like a miraculously fast recovery. So again,
And
I
you
mean,
said though they didn't even know they were getting prayed
they didn't
for,
know
right?
they were getting preyed upon. They didn't, and they don't necessarily even believe it or whatever, but it's the belief of all the people directing the energy towards them. Because I do believe we can direct energy towards each other, right? Like people can definitely send bad vibes your way, and you can pick up on that, and it changes your mood stuff. So if you have a huge concentrated amount of it.
I wish you could send bad vibes to someone. I so do.
Well, you're not
so
supposed
do.
to. No, that's
God,
not,
thanks,
you're not supposed to
Jeremy.
do that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
Well,
My Reiki master knows some people who are into the darker stuff, and I keep trying to get her to introduce me, but she won't do it.
No, don't get into that. It's like, just in case. Just in case. I don't know if it works or
Well,
not, but
like,
just in case.
Deborah,
don't fuck with shit you don't know, dude.
If I want to
Like-
put on some Alice Cooper and freaking do some dark stuff, don't stop me.
Well, just don't have a little. What's the doll? Don't have one with my face on here on it. Whatever. Where you're like sticking pins in.
No. And I mean, there might be one of Scott, and every time I think of Frogman, I might go poke it a couple times. But
that episode hurt you that deep, huh?
I talk about you in that episode a lot on a lot of different podcasts, Scott.
That's funny.
Jeremy, I saw your face, dude. When we were done with that episode, you didn't believe in Frogman anymore. Okay. God bless you.
I still believe in Frogman, dude. I still believe in Frogman. Hell, he was at my house for a little bit today, you know.
We're not talking about the Marine Corps over here, buddy. No Navy.
So, Deborah, going back to your earlier example of the healing through group prayer, you know, the example you cited was a person who was about to be subjected to a procedure with a high probability of failure. However, the probability of failure is there, but also there's a probability of success, right?
Oh.
The chances are not zero, right? If the chances of her living were virtually zero, but she lived anyway, wouldn't that be more meaningful than, okay, you know, you've got a 95% chance of not surviving, you know, theoretically, she's one of the 5% that survived. Well, there's going to be 5% of the people that survived this procedure. She happened to be one of them. Is that miraculous?
Yeah, well, so like I don't know. And even if it was she had zero chance of surviving, like who's to say who makes those odds up? The doctors, but maybe they don't know, miscalculated, and there was that. That's what I'm saying. Is it fate and it was going to happen anyways, or did people have an effect, or I don't know.
Right. I'm sorry, I was temporarily distracted by Scott's Krampus shirt. That was so cool.
I know.
Okay, sorry. I thought I had to get out of here for my story. I thought my youngest son was awake still, but he's not. Back to the chair.
I love your shirt, Scott. That's totally cool.
Thank you. The Yule lads are going to be coming for the kids here pretty soon. Got last year's. You didn't see my kick-ass Christmas setup, Michael.
No. What is it that you just showed us? I don't even understand what I just saw.
It's so
well,
cool.
this was Spoon Licker's paper for my son last year. We got
Spoon-
Santa taking a shit. We got
Okay.
Krampus, Bigfoot, Merle from The Walking Dead. There's my little paganistic whatever. Another Krampus here. Fuck yeah, the
That's
best
totally cool.
Christmas display ever. We got Mr. Hanky and fucking two
No way.
Krampuses. Oh shit, we'll have to fix it. I got these little books too. I found in a storage complex. That's the full book for. I got the Christmas Carol. My mom
Whoa.
made this.
Nice.
Best fucking Christmas display this side of the Mississippi.
I got to take you back to the spoon liquor. I don't even know what that is.
The Yule Lads?
Yeah, what is this?
Oh, he missed our episode on Christmas.
Mike, you don't watch our freaking episode. You're not on, dude.
Oh, you're in trouble now.
The last Christmas thing we talked about was that mushroom that looked like Santa Claus, but I missed the spoon liquor thing.
We did a whole episode back.
There are 13 Yule Lads from Grilla, the ogre in Norse mythology.
Okay.
So in 2 days, every night there will be a different Yule Lad that comes and gives my son a present in his shoes. And then
so
like
this
every
is where the 12 days came from.
well, this is 13 days. There's 13 Yule Lads. I better be saying, if I fuck that up in my brain, I'm going to be mad. No, the 12 days of Christmas, that's like 12th night. What the fuck happens on 12th night? There's all sorts of witches and werewolves and shit that happen in Christmas. This is a great book. And it gives you like recipes and shit. But The Old Magic of Christmas by Linda Reddish. It's a awesome book. I would not get the audio version because like 1/8 of that book is Christmas recipes. And recipes aren't good in an audio book. But it's got a lot of shit in it, dude. Like I think it has a little bit of the werewolves. That one's a little bit more niche, but it's got a lot of the Frau Pertas and every name variation, from town to town. Belsnickel, Krampus, the whole shooting match.
Cool. Thank you for sharing.
I'm actually listening to a great audio book. I still got like 12 hours left, but it's Krampus. I'll send it in the chat. But I mean, it's a pretty damn good book, and the narrator's pretty good. So,
hey Scott, you should watch the Santa Clauses on Disney Plus.
We own them all, but we have Disney Plus too.
Well, it's the TV series they did after the last 2 years around Christmas, and they had one of the characters on it is Bafana, a witch who lives in the North Pole.
Well, okay, what is it? The Santa Clauses?
Yeah, because it's about Tim Allen and his family living in the North Pole after the 3 movies.
Is it Tim Allen?
Yeah, it's Tim Allen.
And you're saying this is a new TV series?
It's ended.
What? No, you're breaking up. I can't.
I don't know why I'm breaking up. I'm right here, but the second season just ended.
And it has Tim Allen in it. You're not shitting.
Yeah,
me.
Tim Allen's in every episode.
Okay, I got to go grab a marker real quick.
And Gabriel Iglesias is in the second season. Fluffy.
Jeremy said Tim Allen did a series called The Santa Clauses. Okay. The Santa Clauses, Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, it's original. Because they own those movies.
Disney original. Cool. Thank you. I'll check that out.
Like in the second season, Ancient Santa Claus I forget what he's called, but he's the evil Santa Claus from like the Dark Ages in the second season.
Huh. That would be cool. And like child friendly too, right? I can watch with the youngest.
Oh God, very kid friendly. Very kid friendly. No, very PG.
That one, of course.
It's
And they
Disney,
bring
of course it's
La
PG.
Befana into it.
Yeah, La Befana. Yeah, she's in both seasons.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
And it talks about how gnomes were the original elves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah,
right your
that'd
alley.
be cool. Thank you.
I can't believe I didn't think of it last year. I tell you, but
well, now I got 2 seasons.
well, there you go. Brandy agrees with me.
Brandy likes it too, huh?
Yeah, it's funny. Tim Allen's really hilarious in it, and I mean it's a new family. You never met this family before, but like a lot of the elf actors from the movies come back.
Bernard, I hope.
In the first season for an episode or 2.
Cool. That's dope.
But
Yeah, Tim Allen's always in good shit, dude. Everything he does, Last Man Standing, Home Improvement. Home Improvement has a fuckload of Christmas episodes.
Oh God, the Christmas episode of Home Improvement where they're singing on Tool Time and Al gets stuck in the chimney is hilarious.
Good old days.
But, the good old days, man. I love Home Improvement. But okay, so Scott, you still got to go, right?
I should probably do that before I get a little inebriated.
Too
that
late,
wouldn't
but
be
okay.
a good thing. Too late. I'm like
He's
a quarter of the way there, my friend. Quarter of the way. Okay, so faith healing. I was originally going to try to like look up some Hindu faith healing. I didn't know what you guys were doing, so I went the cult route.
Nice.
So this faith healer was a proclaimed prophet by the name of Moise. You guys will probably understand who I'm talking about. Moise. Sort of like Moses or Jesus. Moise.
Okay.
Not like Jesus, but Moise.
Okay.
So old Moise originally had the name Rock Thayrolt. Have you ever, and I probably fucked the name up, but does that sound familiar to anybody? I know this is going to sound super familiar here in a couple seconds. So when we start from the beginning, old Roche was born in 1947 in Sanguinet, Quebec. I hope I said that right, Debra.
No idea. You're good.
Okay.
He was out of his mother there, and he started walking a boot.
Well, I think these people were French Canadians.
Oh, well, as South Park said then, fuck French Canada.
So this kid was said to be like super intelligent, but he dropped out of school in the 7th grade. And then he got really obsessed with the Old Testament of the Bible. So he became a Seventh-day Adventist. And if any children are watching our show for any reason at all, they should turn this off.
They need
a little dark.
If any children are watching our show, then let's talk. Please let's talk. Please let's talk to your parents and the decisions they make.
Yeah. So a little background, like super, cold cut. What is a Seventh-day Adventist? They're almost like Orthodox version Christianity, closer to the goddamn, we talked about them. The people that give the Watchtower pamphlets. Bigger. Yeah, I said it earlier.
FLDS?
No, not Mormons. They don't have their
Jehovah
own.
Witnesses.
Jehovah Witnesses. Yeah. So the bigger difference between them and the Jehovah Witnesses is they have like a huge part of their beliefs revolves around Judgment Day. And then they follow a vegetarian kosher diet, And like the flat earthers, they celebrate the Sabbath on Saturday. So they're a little different than your average, Baptist or Episcopalian church. So during this time, as a seventh dayer, Roche found out that he was a prophet. He's going to be a faith healer. You just wait and see. So in the mid-70s, he convinced a group of people to quit their jobs and follow him. And then by 77, he founded a church called the Anthill Kids.
Oh,
I know you guys have heard of this one.
Yeah.
We did them on we did them on the Colts bracket. Yeah.
Okay, so they started the commune where they were just free of sin and from all contact of sinners. So that means you can't talk to your family anymore. You're alone with your little cult here. And they would listen to Rosh give motivational speeches when they were done with their work. Some fucking people. So one day, God spoke to Roche and told him that the end was going to happen sometime in February in 1979. So his followers and him, they hiked up a mountain that was called the Eternal Mountain by Roche. And he had them go to work building him a town, basically. He built a bunch of shacks, or they built a bunch of shacks for themselves, and then like an actual house. I don't know what kind of house, because they said they hiked up there. So I'm assuming log cabin shit. And Roche just sat there and gave motivational speeches. So this is where the name the Anthill Kids comes into play, because he compared his followers to ants working on an anthill. And to make sure his followers wouldn't stray far from him, he married all 9 of the women and eventually would impregnate them with 20 children. After they had their big family and the end didn't come, he moved everybody to Kawartha Lakes in Ontario. And this was in 1984. So, like, the end of the world should have happened in 1979. 5 years passed. They couldn't wait anymore. They had to move to Ontario. So, at this point in time, Roche wasn't feeling very motivational anymore. And he started to hit the sauce pretty hard. So he started enacting some new rules on all of his followers here. Members were, and I swear to God, the faith healing is coming into this. Members were no longer allowed to talk with each other without him being present. And they could not do the dirty unless Roche gave them permission, even if they were, originally husband and wife. And if he thought they were thinking about leaving, he would tell the followers that God told him they were trying to break up the family. And at this time, he would dish out a little bit of punishment, either with the belt, or sometimes he'd tie people to the rafters and pull out all of their hair. Sometimes he'd just smash you in the face with a hammer, or he would defecate on you in front of everyone.
Jesus.
Sounds like a fun party.
Is this what happens in Canada, Deborah?
I can't say I was at that party. Nope.
It's like Canada was different.
I always wonder why people join cults, because this is always the story of them. Like, how do you ever?
Every time.
Like, no matter what they're promising.
Because, Deborah, you're looking for friends and you're lonely. You meet this group of people, they accept you and invite you in. And then by the time you're getting shit on, you're so deep. It's no escaping.
I guess.
I saw pictures of this dude. This dude was not a very big man, dude. And there were like a bunch of other men there. we'll get to the healing part.
Okay.
So things were going swimmingly, and they were being good little anthill kids making baked goods. Think about the baked goods with being defecated on and everything. And they were all staying sin-free. They would sell these baked goods to the general population. I think that's something you need to keep into perspective. But
Scott,
eventually,
I think Brandy's got you nailed down.
Yep.
what'd she say? Church of malt liquor. Salvation through inebriation. Okay, so eventually smashing people in the faces with hammers just wasn't good enough anymore. So he had to boost up the old punishments there. Getting into faith healing. Now, if you were bad, he would make you sit on a lit stove with your pants off,
Jeez.
Jesus.
break your legs and arms with a sledgehammer, make you eat his crap, and if you were lucky, you got nailed to a tree while all the little kids threw rocks at you. So that was,
Whoa.
Hand to the tree, a couple little rocks, nothing. So things were going good. Things were going so good that one of his wives left their newborn baby outside to freeze to death so he wouldn't have to
Oh my.
join the family.
That's
So now we're getting into the faith healing. Roche needed to start purifying his flock, so he started performing unnecessary surgeries on anyone who was feeling a little under the weather.
Holy.
My wife told me not to laugh because I seem like a crazy person. It's just hard to imagine people would stay here. It gets bad. It gets bad.
Wow.
So he would inject their stomachs with 94% ethanol solution. God knows what the other 6% was, right? I don't know how they have 94%. I don't know if anybody knows what the other 6% was. But then he also decided to circumcise all the males, old and young.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, if you want to wear their foreskins as a necklace, that's how you do it.
So this went on for a while, but luckily in 1987, CPS removed 17 of the children. Remember, the original number was 20. So some of these kids, CPS left there for some reason.
They might have aged. They might have aged out of the point where CPS could do anything about it.
Or maybe.
Well, no, because we're 1987 from 79. Like these kids are like 12, dude.
But maybe they died and just buried them, and the CPS didn't even know.
I know there were still children left at this compound.
Jeez.
So,
like, how could you leave any kid behind? Good God.
Somebody has to throw rocks at the bad people that sinned that you nailed to the tree.
To the tree people. What a mess.
So, and surprisingly, Roche wasn't charged with a goddamn thing. I don't know how CPS comes and takes 17 children and doesn't charge you with anything.
And leaves some behind. Holy man.
Well, see, this is the 90s. So CPS.
It's still 87. Still 87.
All right, 87, but still. CPS probably made a deal with Jeffrey Epstein saying, hey, we got 17 kids here. You want to pay our salaries a little bit?
So it gets a little crazier. In 1989, things would finally turn out for almost the worst. One of the women, Solange Boillard, started to complain of an upset stomach. This would turn out to be bad. Very bad. And anybody who doesn't want to listen to the rest of the story should turn it off now.
You heard it, folks. Have a good night.
Roche laid her naked on a table and started hitting her in the stomach. Then he gave her an enema with a solution of 50-50 molasses and olive oil.
Ooh.
Then he literally cut her stomach open, reached into her stomach with his bare hands, and ripped out a part of her intestine.
Well, talk about
Wow.
a shitty situation.
Jesus.
It's terrible.
So after this, he had another woman sew her back up, and this woman, and then that woman had to like put a tube down her throat and try to do like the medical airbag shit. And that lady lasted for a whole fucking day before she died.
Jeez.
Imagine. Oh my gosh.
So then the next day after she was dead, Roche claimed that he had the power of resurrection. And
course
he
he is.
ended up drilling a hole into her skull where two men ejaculated into her head. And then she didn't wake up, so they buried her after that.
What
And
the
you thought that
fucking-
was bad.
Oh God, Scott. There goes my
So you would've
podcaster of the
thought-
week thing, Scott. Thanks.
You'll still be podcaster of the week, Jeremy. Give me a break. So you would have thought that would have brought a charge or two, maybe. I don't know. Like he would have been stopped at that. You would think. But then what happened to this? I don't remember why this woman got the treatment, but her name was Lavelli, and I mean that was horrible. He ended up cutting off one of her breasts, burning her genitals with a welding torch, removing 8 of her teeth, smashing her head with the blunt side of an axe. It goes on.
This guy makes Charles Manson look like an angel.
Right? Can you imagine getting the flu? Like if you were part of that cult and you started getting the flu, you'd just be like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine."
People must
Why
be
the fuck
terrified.
wouldn't you leave? Why wouldn't you
They're so
leave?
terrified. They're
Yeah.
terrified.
Well, Charles Manson was a spook. I mean, he worked for our CIA. Let's get things out in the open there. But then after the blunt side of the axe to the head, he cut off her fingers with wire cutters. And then, I don't know why, but he cut his whole arm off with the knife. And this would finally be the end of old Rocho there. And Jeremy, pull up that picture. Big happy family. I sent it in the...
Sure. What?
Yeah, it should be one of the last things in the messenger.
Hold on. Oh, it's literally the only picture I got sent this week. So yeah, I got it. Y'all were slacking this week with the pictures, and I was very happy about that. This looks like a happy family, all right? Jesus. Looks like,
yeah,
looks
pull
like
this
the picture
up
in the end
before
of
we
Shining.
finish it off.
I'm trying to.
That's really it. That's the
Wow.
Anthill kids.
Yeah, this was from the 70s until the 80s.
And that's
Okay,
the-
these look like men. These look like men dressed as women.
those are
It was the
Anthill
70s and the 80s, Jeremy. Come on now. But you see
I
the
wasn't alive
little
for the end of the
guy
80s.
with the beard?
Yeah, yeah.
The little guy with the beard in the middle? That's old Rocho.
Wow.
And that son of a bitch only got 12 years. After that lady, I think that lady actually lived. I was rushing towards the end, but I've heard a podcast on this before. I think that lady actually lived,
Oh my
but he
God.
only got 12 years in prison for amputating her arm.
Jeez.
And then 4 of the women actually went to see him every week for conjugal visits and bringing the kids to see their father.
Okay. you know what this means. He was hung like a fucking stallion. Obviously. Otherwise, why would we go and see him for conjugal visits?
It's called
I mean,
brainwash.
that probably makes sense. I don't know what the fuck else.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm sure you could find somebody just as endowed that wasn't a crazy freaking cult leader that's killing everyone.
I mean,
Or go
in
to a
Canada,
happier cult.
I mean, in Canada, I don't know. Canada, I don't think so.
Canada would be the worst place to do a commune too, dude. You guys have like 8 month winters. That would suck ass. But eventually more charges would be brought against him, and he was finally convicted for second-degree murder, and then he lived in prison the rest of his life until 2011.
Well,
I'm
Scott,
surprised your people in prison don't clean out the trash, Canada. Or Debra.
I love how you call
Like
it Canada.
in our prisons, that would have been taken care of pretty quick.
He'd go MIA within a few nights of his stay there.
Oh, I mean, well, look what happened to
Child
Epstein.
abuse.
Look what happened to Epstein.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And can you imagine kids that are born into these cults? Like, they don't know. Like, this is life. They're
still alive. They might be watching this shit right
Yeah,
now.
but how weird would it be? Because you don't know any other way, right? That's your only perception is this nuttiness until you get out, and then you're like, oh my god.
That's what's crazy is the kids are like my age.
Yeah.
Well, we were all born into religion of some kind, Debra. So we're all born into cults.
I mean, it puts it in perspective. I'll take what I had to, what I was exposed to compared to what other people have gone through. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was awful. That was just awful.
I mean, Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, Scott. We're still waiting. Like, was it a year and a half now to see Debra's picture of her in her Catholic schoolgirl uniform?
Oh, for you guys. And you'll keep on waiting.
I'll find it if I have to go to fucking Canada. I haven't been there in a good freaking 15 years anyway, so I gotta go back eventually.
Am I the only
No.
person that hasn't left the country?
Apparently.
Yes.
Damn it.
Scott, you never been to Mexico? You never been to Mexico?
No, and I lived like 2 hours away.
Just drive on down.
Go to Mexico. Get some tequila. Get a donkey show in. Have fun.
Well, now I don't live 2 hours. Now I live like 14, 20 hours away. Who God knows?
Through the desert, yeah.
I'm probably as close to Canada as I am to Mexico now.
All right.
I don't want to go outside of America. What are you guys talking about? Safe
Dude,
here.
I want to get out of
I don't
America.
even want to go to California.
America has no freedom anymore. I want to get out of America.
Like to move or just to get away for a bit?
I'm thinking Australia or possibly Sweden.
Did you see what happened to Australia?
I was going to say Australia. I think I wouldn't be going there if you're worried about freedom. Not now.
I mean,
name a place freer than America, dude. There's still places: Utah, Texas, Florida,
Sentinel Island. I'm gonna go there and live among the Sentinelese and freaking throw rocks at anybody who tries to come near the island.
There you
as
go.
long as you live stream. That'll be great content.
Yeah, you're gonna see Scott in a boat paddling up like, "Hey, Jeremy," and all of a sudden, like 5,000 spears get thrown at him.
I ain't going anywhere near that place.
He's gone feral.
You need to bring him the religion. That worked out great for the last dude.
All right, well, speaking of religion, what I found for tonight's topic of faith healers, which we went way off topic of, but
no, he was healing people. Don't you remember the surgeries and the medicine?
Trying to sell it.
Yeah. So were a lot of serial killers.
Faith. They had faith. Faith healer.
Did they have faith plus one, Scott? Faith plus one. But
faith plus one.
That's a South Park reference for everybody who doesn't get it.
I got that. That was actually hilarious.
The power of Christ. But so I found a website called evidenceunseen.com, and it's actually a Christian. And
okay, if any kids hold on. If any kids backed out, or didn't back out on mine, you should definitely back out now.
Hey,
Whatever
this is from
Jeremy's got going.
Hey, this is a Christian website, not a Catholic website, so kids are safe. But it's a Christian website, and they are talking about faith healers that are fake. This is Christians talking about faith healers that are fake. I just gotta say that. It's amazing. But these three were called fake for their greed and theft. Peter Popoff was the first one. He was never shy about such matters as his influence, delighting in showing off his wealth at every opportunity. His home in Upland, assessed at just under $800,000, which he put up for sale after I exposed his tricks on the Johnny Carson show in February of 1986, boasted both a walk-in vault and a jewelry display room measuring 6 by 8 feet with illuminated display shelves.
Could you imagine that though? Like, sorry to pause you. Like, he went on the Carson show. Like,
he got disproven on the Johnny Carson show. He got made to look like a fool on the Johnny Carson show. But reports from inside were that Popoff had $2 million in cash stashed away in there against bad times, and boasted about it. His personal expenses included a monthly payment of $5,000 to one of LA's most expensive interior decorators to apply to his $300,000 bill for redesigning the Popoff residence. The Peter Popoff Evangelical Association paid the bill every month. So that's one of the green ones.
Religion, dude, it's a good business.
But W.V. Grant, the Grant Mansion outside Dallas, cost $800,000, plus another $200,000 for the play area, outdoor night lighting, swimming pool, patio, and assorted electronic pinball machines, which he adored. So, yeah, I mean, these are all people that are spending the money, obviously, horribly. And, I love this last one. Oral Roberts. We all know that name. It's a famous college.
Right.
But regarding the Oral Roberts Evangelistic Association, it's a $500 million conglomerate that's become a major part of that city's economy. So they literally are letting this guy get away with being a fraud just because it helps the city.
That's the way to do it. If any of you kids are still listening, get out there and hustle.
Well, and here's more proof of the people doing fake miracles. But Peter Popoff, the first one, he was caught using a radio device to stimulate the gift of knowledge, and they spotted something in his car. They put a radio scanner to pick up the message. Elizabeth Popoff was saying, "Hello, Petey, I love you. I'm talking to you. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in trouble because I'm talking. As well as I can talk. I'm looking up names right now. I forgot to ask. Are you going to preach first, or are you going to minister first?" As she went on to describe names, tables, afflictions, etc., investigator James Randi exposed faith healer Popoff for faking miracles. Oh, and there's a video. Oh, we got video. Okay.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Let me
I love
rewind it.
watching these guys perform.
This is how you don't get caught, kids.
It's like watching Scott do tarot.
Yeah.
I want to be, if I can, as sure of the world, the real world around me, as is possible. Now, you can only attain that to a certain degree, but I want the greatest degree of control. I've never involved myself in narcotics of any kind. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Because that can easily just fuzz the edges of my rationality, fuzz the edges of my reasoning powers, and I want to be as aware as I possibly can. That means giving up a lot of fantasies that might be comforting in some ways, but I'm willing to give that up in order to live in an actually real world, as close as I can get to it.
Take this message to the world.
Yeah. Like the 1980s shit.
I entered a world that I found filled with fantasy and rife with abuse. The world of faith healing. I developed a special interest in a television evangelist named Peter Popoff.
God told me, he said, you smite that cancer with your fist.
At the time, Popoff was pulling in nearly $4 million a year, healing people on
Holy
his miracle
fuck.
crusades.
You got cancer of the stomach? Are you ready for God to burn that cancer out? Here it goes in the mighty. Devil, back
That
off.
dude was bawling out of control.
Back off, devil! Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
You really believe you're healed?
Yes.
Do you think her cancers are gone now?
Yes, I believe that because God never lies and we stand in His word. Praise the Lord.
I tell you, from now on, you're going to have a soul of victory in your heart. Amen.
To his followers, Popoff seemed to have divine powers.
Alice, is it Gould? Alice Gould?
He knew their names,
Stand up, Alice.
as well as the afflictions they'd come to cure.
God is touching that thyroid condition right now. God is touching your nerves right now.
Oh,
God
poor
is touching your
lady.
eyes. Just lift up your hands, get ready. Here it comes.
He also knew the personal details of their
To
lives.
hear good news from Charles before everything is over. I'll tell you, he's going to be completely delivered because of your prayers, because of your faith. Here it comes, complete healing in Jesus' mighty name right now, right now. Amen. It's all right to praise the Lord.
I suspected that Popoff's revelations were other than divine. The radio scanner we brought to the hall picked up a decidedly worldly source.
Hello, Petey. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in trouble.
Popoff was being prompted by his wife through a wireless earpiece.
John?
Imagine what they can do now.
Right?
She'd gotten her information from prayer cards filled out by the faithful before the show began.
She wants to get rid of the walker.
You want to get rid of this walker, sister? Oh, glory. How long have you been walking on that walker?
About 3 years.
3 years.
She lives at 1627 10th Street.
1627 10th Street? Is that right?
That's right.
She has arthritis all over.
Burning this arthritis right out of your body. Take a few steps just to make the devil mad. Hallelujah. That's it. Just move around a little bit. There she goes. Just walk with me. Oh, glory to God. She's not going to need that walker anymore. God's just putting new strength, new health, burning that arthritis out of her body. Just keep going. Hallelujah.
Sure, but she's
I was able to arrange
Yeah.
for another broadcast of the Miracle
What up,
Crusade
guys?
on The Tonight Show. But this
$4
time,
million
the wireless
a year,
prompting
dude.
was
Doesn't
included.
seem bad.
In 1987, Peter Popoff declared bankruptcy.
Greater is
All
he.
he's doing is giving people like
Greater is
hope.
he.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Man, that's brutal. So I wonder, like, I can
Or
see
next
how
week,
people there that night are like, okay, I believe, and everybody, but then don't they wonder why the little old lady doesn't come back? Like, sure, she's, like
She
nobody's
fell
healed
down
her,
the fucking steps.
right? Like, how long can you keep that going on? That's crazy. Like, don't they start noticing the people that he's healed or like die?
$4 million a year worth of keeping it going on. Come on now, dude.
And still bankrupt too. He didn't even invest that money smartly and do anything good with it.
Oh, I'm sure his business went bankrupt.
Well, the other guy I talked about, W.V. Grant, he apparently lied about going to college for theology. Randy writes, even Grant's college degree is phony. He claims that he obtained it from Mid-States Bible College in Des Moines, Iowa in 1972. He displays the diploma on his office wall, but Mid-States wasn't then and isn't now registered with the Iowa Department of Public Instruction. As all...
Whoa, hold on. What was he doing in construction?
Instruction, not construction, Scott.
Oh, okay.
As all parochial and public schools are required to be. It wasn't recorded with the Secretary of State's office in Iowa as a corporation, nor was it listed in the county recorder's office. It didn't even show up in the telephone directory. Grant claimed to use his excessive money to give money to Haiti, but that never happened. The investigators at prime time exposed faith healer W.V. Grant, and there's a video, but we're not watching it because it's 11 minutes long, discovering that his ministry of miracles was nothing more than old magician's tricks. He would say he was healing the blind, but how faith healers will often heal the blind so they can see how many fingers they are holding up. This is fraudulent. It consists of Grant asking the subject to tell him how many fingers he is holding up, then placing the microphone for the subject's mouth and at the same time saying the required number out loud, which the subject merely repeats. Special knowledge. Faith healers will also often have special knowledge of a person. For instance, Grant knew that a subject smoked Pall Mall cigarettes. However, close observation of the videotape that... What?
So do we.
Well, I don't smoke pot. Pall Mall is nasty, dude. Close observation of the videotape, the show, reveals that the Pall Mall package was visible through the white fabric of the man's pocket. Grant spotted it and used the information to his advantage. As far as healing those in wheelchairs, in order to heal people in wheelchairs, the faith healer never picks people who have a personalized wheelchair. These are people who are actually handicapped. Instead, they always pick from those who have the same type of wheelchairs, which belong to the auditorium. That is, when elderly people come walking into
like
the stadium.
Fat people and shit. Like the people who use them at Walmart.
Nope, not back then, but when elderly people come walking into the stadium, an usher will give them a wheelchair to sit in, but they aren't actually physically handicapped. Thus, the faith healer can spot such a wheelchair and pick a person who can already walk. Regarding one person who was healed, Randy writes, the chair was supplied by an usher. He'd never been in a wheelchair before in his life.
So why don't any of those people be like, yeah, but I, like speak up?
Because they want to be famous.
Well, and back then too, right? Like when was the camera on you? Like now you could make a YouTube video or a TikTok video. But back then, like you had no way to really complain.
Right. No way to communicate it to the masses.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, so those are the two biggest fakers back then. And the biggest difference between biblical miracles and modern faith healers, according to this Christian site, is the first one is that Jesus and the apostles healed every kind of disease and every kind of sickness among the people. Whatever I forget what fucking Bible in the book that is, but modern faith healers will only heal selective diseases such as back pain or arthritis.
Crazy thing about Jesus is there was 184 historians back in that area at the time. 4 people notated him. 1 was proven to be a fraud, and 2 only talked about him as the anointed. They didn't talk about him as Jesus Christ. So there's still one.
And this one actually makes sense. Because in the Bible, Jesus and his apostles often brought people back from the dead. Modern faith healers never attempt something like that. Because if biblical miracles should be normative for today, why don't they ever bring people back from the dead?
Well, and you'd think more people would have wrote about it, like one of those 184 people back then, but I think it was Satan. I think Satan.
Can you imagine if Jesus did come?
Writing about it.
Can you imagine if Jesus was, Jesus, and he came and he was running around performing miracles, and people nowadays are like, I've seen that scam before. Like, get out of here, like. Is he going to be able to, convince anyone? Because
well, how would that even work, right? Like,
and Brandy, we feel sorry for Debra too, but she likes doing the podcast with us.
I know. Thank you, Brandy.
What happened?
But yeah, I mean, so
Brandy knows everything about talking to my drunk ass.
Oh, we know. When Buckles too, but.
Hey, Buckles gets fucked up and calls me too. So.
Oh, I'm sure you two gossip on the phone all the time when you're drinking, but.
Like a bunch of Miss Gossipies.
Like a bunch of high school girls, but that's all I got for this. Because, faith healers. There's an Insane Clown Posse song about faith healers that I freaking love. I forget what it's called though. Fuck. All right, it's gonna piss me off. I gotta look it up.
That was really good, Jeremy. I liked what you presented.
Mm-hmm.
That was excellent.
Thank you, Google.
Did anybody do anything cool this week?
Not really. Well, everything cool happened to me this week happened today with getting told I was the podcaster of the week right before I got in the show. So that was pretty fucking awesome. But,
Congratulations, dude. That's cool.
hey, I've been doing this for a year and a half. It's about damn time I get recognized. Actually, no, I've been doing this for like it's been 2 years now.
Yeah, I think we've been doing it for a year and a half.
A year,
now.
year and a half. Yeah, that's a long time. Who knew? Who knew we'd still be kicking around here?
What about you, Deborah? Michael?
I went for a horse-drawn like hayride and met Santa and had chocolate. It was pretty cool.
You had a date? You had a date, Debra?
Yeah, with my grandson. Yeah. It was
in Canada, that's
cool. I've never.
In Canada, that's legal.
It was fun though. It was pretty cool. They had the great big horses, and yeah, it was fun. Christmas fun.
Did they do it around like downtown, like the boulevard, or was it
It's
like
just
a
my neighborhood?
ride
So somebody
place?
in my neighborhood
Cool.
owns these horses, and so they do it just for our neighborhood. Yeah, so there's not long lineups or anything. It's just yeah. If you live in the hood, you get to go on the sleigh ride. So
Well, that's
in the
sad,
hood,
huh?
y'all. In the hood.
in the hood.
What
How about
about
you,
you,
Mike?
Michael?
What'd you do?
Not too much, Scott. You know, just a week back at the office, trying to get things going. I don't have a good story to tell you, my friend. It was a really boring week.
Well, how was your vacation?
It was excellent. Went to Puerto Vallarta for a week and a half. It was really nice, relaxing, great food. It was good. You should come down with me sometime. We'll look for Sasquatch down there. The Sky
Well, it's
Cave.
snowing. I'd love
Michael,
to
if
get back
there-
to Florida.
Michael, if there's ever a crawfish and oyster or lobster festival where you have all you can eat, I will be down there.
Sounds good.
But yeah, actually, okay. The song by Insane Clown Posse I was thinking of is called Hallelujah, and I sent it in the group chat for all y'all to take a listen because it makes fun of faith healers so fucking bad. And I know Scott's to be rocking out to it. Actually, it's on the album I'm bringing this week on Maniacal Music on Tuesday. So perfect.
Cool.
And the theme song for this episode when it's on Paranormal New Normal in a couple months will be, of course, Boondocks as They Pray with Snakes. Scott would like that one, I think. But
Awesome.
But,
What about you, Scott? What's your week? You're the only one that didn't answer that question.
My son downloaded, he just downloaded a mod for Fallout 4. Have any of you guys played Fallout 4?
No.
He got that shit in the VR, so you get to play like real life Fallout 4. It's pretty dope.
Scott, you got to play Fallout 76. That's the one with the Mothman in it.
Well, that's online. I don't know if they've gotten that to VR yet. Fallout 4 had Mothman too.
Oh, I mean, it is Fallout 4 that I'm thinking of. I don't know. But, well, Scott, it's your topic next week. What are we doing?
What do you mean it's my topic? I just picked.
Well, no, Debra picked last week, and this week... Oh, wait, did Debra pick last week?
No, who did pick last? No, it was Scott. Yeah, it was Scott because it was Christmas.
Okay, so, Debra, it's your turn!
Okay. Well, I've been thinking about this for a little bit, so I'm
Okay.
not caught unawares this time. So, you know how, I don't know if you've heard this, but some people say that we all come from star seeds. Like we are all star seeds. We have some origin with a star seed family.
We are extraterrestrial spirits inside a human shell, and yeah.
So I want us all to research them and come back and tell us about your family. Who do you think you came from and why? Because some are, they have strong mathematical
Fuck me.
kind of stuff.
Now
Like, who are you?
now
And
I'm
why do you think you're that type of star seed person?
now I'm going to have to reach out to all the freaking star seeds I know and get some therapy.
You guys don't look very excited about this. Yes.
I gotta find out what a star seed is.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm not
familiar
gonna
with
lie.
this.
Yeah, well, that's good
Uh,
because there's a few
I-
different like Pleiadians and whatever Arcturians, and I don't know.
I-
I don't know them either. So
I
I
think
will
I'm
send
from
you-
the Xenu, like what Scientology's based off of. I think I'm from that.
Oh
star
God.
seed.
oh Lord.
Well, if you've ever seen the movie Explorers from the 1980s, I think that's kind of Alien Scott is.
Who's the reptilian?
Probably.
There's got to be a reptilian in the group, I think. So yeah, let's talk about star seeds.
Okay.
That's why Scott knows that Hillary Clinton is one.
Because it's a cousin.
My sister.
But okay, and I'm gonna see actually if I can get a guest next week who is a starseed.
Oh, that would be good. Maybe
Cool. That would help
do
out a
Walking
lot.
Dead, I guess, probably.
She's a previous guest of mine. She's one of the first guests of my podcast like 2 years ago. So fuck yeah.
Is this like
I'll
like really big or what? I've never heard about this.
Star seeds are freaking huge nowadays.
It's
They've been
huge,
growing.
yeah.
There's more and more podcasts about them. There's more and more people saying they are star seeds. Like, it's basically, if you ever felt like Earth is not your first home, like if you ever felt like Earth is not where you belong, then that's a major sign of being a star seed.
And there's certain like personality traits and looks, like even how you look and stuff. There's
Unfortunately, people who are star seeds are often more ill and are ailing more than humans.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's from at least from what I've been told. But I'm gonna see if I can get Shanti on here because she was the first starseed I ever talked to.
Okay, well, you're each going to
How
tell
do
me
you know I wasn't?
what's your star seed family.
Scott, there is no carnival aliens, so yeah.
Jeez.
But
well,
Debra, talk us out because it's been almost 2 hours.
Then that is way too long, my friends. Good night. No. Everybody
Merry
have a
Christmas,
good week.
everybody.
We will
Scott,
see you same time.
We have 2 more episodes for Christmas, Scott.
Yeah, but it's the Christmas season.
It
Are you
is.
Yeah,
Mr.
well.
Grinch? You're Mr. Grinch for 2 more episodes.
I am hosting a holiday. I am hosting a holiday horror bracket on the 23rd. I am no mean one. But yes, folks, Global Strangeness will be back next week, and be sure to check out Paranormal New Normal if you want to check out Global Strangeness episodes that are released in audio form finally for your listening pleasure while you're driving 2 hours somewhere on Christmas holiday. So, yeah. But until next time.
Bye.